Conventions with Jonna and
Lily.
So, today on our agenda, well, the only thing on our agenda is Institution Conventions, which is conventions of independent film. So, Lily, what's the first convention that we're going to be talking about?
The first convention will be that the film itself makes you think and ask questions.
So, Lily, did we follow this or break this convention?
We followed this convention because both of our voiceovers, or voice of God, that we used end with a question. Are we truly happy? And what is happiness? I don't know. You tell me. This would lead the audience to really think about their own happiness and if they feel that they have achieved it in life and whether they think they are successful or not. Starting and ending with this type of voiceover, which contains different questions, would make the audience constantly think about what they're being told in the documentary and about where the documentary where they think it's going, and then later on how it will help them, and then eventually it will kind of guide them in like how they could chase their perception of happiness or what their perception of happiness exactly is.
So this would appeal to our our thinkers as well as like achievers and everything, because it would make them think about like achieving happiness as well as
so it would appeal to
like
our
as well as
audience.
to the reformers and the explorers,
so both
for
our
like
primary,
enlightenment and like knowledge.
Yeah, so both our primary and secondary audiences will be entertained by our product, which is
particularly like
important.
with our second audience of like, or like our primary audience of like class B, because like, you know, when they're like in the working class and all this stuff, like by asking them a question and making them think and kind of feel that they're like useful, and also people looking for like self-actualization and self-esteem needs as well.
Yeah. So secondly, we have another convention for you. Surprise.
It is that independent films are associated with critical success rather than commercial. Now, we follow this convention due to the fact that our documentary will be shown in film festivals, which focuses on the critical aspect of our documentary. This is because film festivals would be a test to whether our documentary will be able to gain future success. Furthermore, film festivals are full of critics, so our documentary being shown in this type of exhibition, in these exhibition outlets, will determine whether or not it will be critically successful. If it gets good reviews, then there will be more chance of further exhibition, as well as distributors being present in the film festivals wanting to invest in our documentary and continue its exhibition. So this would kind of determine whether it goes to like independent cinemas and like distributors, as well as like audience of like independent film tend to look at the critical like success.
Also, I think it's important to remember that commercial success is like a lot more, is directed more to mass conglomerate productions instead of independent films like we are. So critical success in the end is going to be so much more helpful for us than anything commercial, just because we're not that well known as with the companies that we're using as distributors and exhibitioners. All in all, it just benefits us.
And also, I think like what we should have done was like because this is such an important part, like focusing on critical success, we should have actually included like quotes like on our poster instead of like I know that we did well in putting like the film festivals, but like we could have done like awards they won from those film festivals and like as well as or like critical success that they got, like reviews, you know, with like the stars and everything.
Of
like how it reviews. So like we should have done that instead of
or at least
just
like
the logo. So you could have put like the logo like in small, but then like a quote or like of success under it.
Yeah.
You know,
or we should have just at least looked into how it would benefit our poster or how it would all work together, because we are using the same kind of colours as a star, so it would just be like how we'd get that to what's the word?
Mimic and
how we'd get that to just suit the whole poster. And work well and link well.
Yeah, for sure.
So next up we have the convention of lower production values. Now, lower production values is referring to what is within the production itself,
the locations,
like what you can see, who you can see, and stuff like that.
And all this
Yeah.
So did we break this convention or follow this convention?
We broke this convention.
We broke this convention! And now why is that?
Well, it's because we use, it's very expensive to travel to, we broke this because, obviously you can see shots of America and just, different places in America and also within London, actually. And they are quite expensive places to travel to, or at least stay at. So obviously we broke this convention because we wouldn't be able to do it normally
because of a low budget we could give it.
Yeah, with our low budget we wouldn't be able to do it normally. However, we were very lucky in the fact that one of us was actually going to America, so we really benefited off that, and we used it to our advantage.
And as well as however, although this is unconventional for short film, we kind of did this to promote the ideology of universal
Universal
happiness.
happiness. Yeah.
But then the problem with showing New York, specifically, and LA, specifically with the stuff associated with the Hollywood sign and Hollywood Boulevard, we're kind of subverting or challenging the main ideology that we wanted to convey, because we're kind of showing that wealth and success is what happiness.
Yeah, that you have to.
You know what I mean?
You have to be able to have these things,
so
or
even
be
if we
here
went
to
there,
be
we could have
happy.
shown the poorer not poorer, but the less areas of New York that are associated
different
with
types. We could have shown different types of locations or people that were looked genuinely happy. I mean, I'm not saying that those places don't make people happy, but we could have shown a wider spectrum just to kind of cement our theme.
Yeah, specifically in New York, we could have filmed in Brooklyn, because that's
or maybe
not
more.
so much upper class,
Maybe we could have used more montage footage from the park, because that
It's
art
really,
shot that we had in the park was really good, because it showed that obviously you don't need amazing things to be happy.
Yeah, exactly.
And everyone enjoyed it, so it's just kind of
okay.
We could have used more of them.
Next convention is rarely shown in multiplex cinemas, as they're shown in independent cinemas.
So we're shown at festivals, so therefore we are rarely shown at multiplex cinemas.
Yeah, and also
at all.
Also we're also planning to show it in independent cinemas in London. So for example, there is the Phoenix Cinema in London, which is and as well as cinemas in Shoreditch, which you mentioned previously. so basically that proves that our planned exhibition is for independent cinemas and film festivals rather than multiplex. Also because we have a low budget. Yeah. And it's kind of quite.
We wouldn't be able to secure those massive conglomerate distributors who would be able to help get our product into those cinemas, purely because we wouldn't have enough money and they wouldn't have enough money.
Yeah, and they tend to not want to really fund short film.
It wouldn't benefit them and it wouldn't benefit us, so it's just completely pointless.
Exactly.
Basically. No one would get anything from it.
Moving on to our next convention, which is
normally having niche, older or more educated audiences.
So did we break?
We broke this convention.
We broke this convention. Now, why did we break this convention, Lily?
Well, I believe we ended up breaking this convention, Jenny, because instead of following this blah 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 blah, we ended up breaking this convention instead of following. Oh right. I believe that we ended up breaking this convention, Jenny, because, the very fact that our primary audience are young and successful individuals who are about 20 to 30 years old and are trying to achieve what they perceive to be happiness in life, or they're at that stage where they're working towards it.
They are quite young and not as well, not in terms of well educated, but they're not as high as
or as experienced.
Exactly. Yeah.
So therefore, they do not have enough knowledge about life and things like that. Pardon?
Yeah, they wouldn't have as much knowledge as people who are much older.
Yeah, and that's people. Blah, 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 blah.
Also, by having places in America, like it would provide like Americans with like personal identity, like through our production, because it's, you know, places they're from. So that kind of shows our production has more American appeal, which
leads to a wider audience.
More international audience as well.
Which is obviously key to our film festival exhibition, which we are planning to do, or would like to do with our film. Next convention is intend to challenge, provoke and inform or educate l'audience. We do follow this convention. Why do we follow this convention, Jenny? Please enlighten me.
So, we follow this convention, Lily, because our documentary is all about educating the audience on the subject of happiness and informing them that everyone in this world can achieve happiness, but it's up to them to determine what makes them happy.
Yeah, that's true.
So we're informing and educating them. And also by having like Sundari kind of talk about how like true happiness is not as desirable as it should be, kind of provokes, kind of like, you know, have like a provoking
just
kind of
genuinely
feeling.
having like
And like challenges, although it kind of challenges like the perception of people have of happiness and how they always want to be happy. So that kind of goes against it, but at the same time, like with a new equilibrium with Frederica, then it kind of goes back.
Also, one like mentioning our interviewees, like we are clearly trying to educate our audience as we're using well-educated professors at different universities to make sure that we have like very like the right information. So therefore we're educating our audience with the right things and it's informing them, and so it means that they're not just learning wrong.
Also like our like we kind of also should have made like in some sense made our documentary a bit more provocative, because it doesn't really provoke much. I guess much stuff, because it's also like by having
it very much follows a set path.
And also like the montage footage we chose are like kind of like warm and fluffy, like makes people happy and like gives like emotional pleasure, like smile and like all these things. So we could have kind of done more things to like kind of provoke like
so maybe been a bit more realistic.
Not so much realistic, but in some sense like realistic. Forget it. But so like we kind of did with Sundari's interview, where we could have done more of like the binary opposition of like showing unhappiness and happiness, and like showing that sometimes it's good to be unhappy in order to be happy.
In our montage shots we could have used something maybe a little bit darker. Like just not darker,
but kind of more
happier.
Our next convention is on location shooting. Now, did we follow this or break this convention?
Ting! We followed this convention.
Now, why did we follow this convention?
Well, it was due to the fact that all our locations within the documentary were actually filmed in that location and not on a set, because that would be way too expensive and it would just be so time consuming as well, and it's completely unconventional, and it was therefore done to create this realistic value, like to add this realistic value to our documentary, which is a key thing to documentaries, so that they are real, and that is actually a convention of a documentary.
To kind of construct reality in some sense by like filming reality, but like so although like Baudrillard says as soon as like we construct, as soon as we have actual reality, we like deconstruct it, but like we still had actual footage and did on location shooting to kind of portray this sort of sense of realism.
So we provide the audience with actual footage, which is, as I said, a convention of a documentary as well as independent film. And finally we have the convention of exploration of narrative themes or open-ended themes.
Like it's exploration of like of the narrative, like in terms of themes, and kind of leaves it open-ended. So overall, Lily, I think that this is a convention that we were able to follow as the documentary was left open-ended. Like this is because we end with a question that the audience would be drawn to think about, and a definition of happiness.
We wanted them to go away.
And a definition of happiness that could mean differently to each individual person. So like, because although it could be argued that like we are contradicting the open-ended like situation by like suggesting that they should go and chase it, like the fact that our new definition does not really state that this particular thing is going to make you happy. Like, we're not saying money will make you happy. We're not stating it there. We're saying that, like, it's a state of mind and all the aspects of your life that make you who you are. That's still kind of leaving it open-ended.
We're kind of saying it's about the way you think of it. It's like what makes you happy.
Also, exactly.
It's completely open to anyone.
Because it could mean different things to each person. And also, our documentary expresses the subject of happiness in a way where the audience are still left thinking on their own, like, chase to happiness and what happiness means to them. Like, because, like,
so again, we're going back to the subjective theme, like the subjective point of our documentary is that, like, happiness is what
and
you
also,
make
like,
it.
Yeah, exactly, in the universal aspect, like, of happiness, and kind of how, although it's hard to, although, like, it may seem hard to achieve, like, in the end, like, people deserve to be happy. So that's why, and so like, as much as it could be argued as a negotiated reading, because we're suggesting that people should chase happiness. Yeah. But again, it's only a suggestion. Yeah. But, like, we're kind of promoting that sense because in the end we want people to be able to look at a documentary and think, what makes me happy? So, like, it could be negotiated that we're kind of telling them to chase it, but
it can be said that we're like, actually go think about this, but really it's just,
it's like that whole kind of promoting them is still open-ended because they have a different sense of what
they have an ability to do it, like, think whatever they want. They might think it makes me happy not to think about this question. Yeah, that's it. Goodbye. Or it makes them happy to. Our target audience is our thinkers. Exactly. So we felt that it was a good idea to put a question at the end, because otherwise, like, I feel like it would kind of just leave them a bit and
think about what it is. And so
it appeals to our audience.
In general, it's like open-ended because it leaves them with thinking about what it actually means, and, like, they can choose to agree with the new definition or they can choose not to. So it's really up to them.
Yay!